Hey guys, what's up? This is View88 here with another movie review. I don't know, I'm just a little excited. A little crazy. Anyway, today's movie review is of a newer film, but came out 6 years ago. But it's the new version of this film. So, it's newer. It's one of the modern day type of versions of this film. The film is Rob Zombie's Halloween. Woo, yay, woo. This is the remake of the original film, which came out in 1978. So yeah. Now, if you don't know who Rob Zombie is, I won't criticize you, but a lot of people do know who he is. He is a musician slash director. He directed many horror films. He was more of a horror film type of guy, and he was a metal musician. So, yeah. So, he directed this film. He also directed the sequel to this film, which didn't do as good as this film did. Even this film didn't do as good as the original. I actually like this film. A lot of people don't like it just because, first thing, it's a remake, and many people hate remakes. But I actually consider this to be one of my favorite movies of all time right now. It's very dark and bloody and at times disturbing, but I still liked it. I thought it was really cool. When I first saw it, I was obsessed with this Michael Myers compared to the old one. But yeah. Alright, I have a 18-inch Michael Myers figure based off of the remake. Oops. Didn't mean to do that, sorry. Kind of fits, but yeah. So that's really him. That's really I have two Michael Myers figures. This is the only one of the Rob Zombie movies that I have, the 18-inch one. And then I have the movie Maniacs Michael Myers figure here. So, based off the first film. So there's that. Oh, I also have to get something else. So, I'm a big slasher horror film, as you can tell. More of the modern day horror films than the, the older, should I say, 40s to about 70s. 40s to about 60s. Those horror films kind of bored me. 40s, why did I say 40s? I meant 20s to the 60s. And really the only classical horror films I liked were the Universal Monsters Frankenstein films. So basically, and I guess the Wolfman from the original films were okay as well. And Dracula was good, but those were really the only three classical type of horror films I liked. For Frankenstein, but Frankenstein's my big one of the originals. There was the 1931 Frankenstein, there was the 1935 Bride of Frankenstein, and the 1939 Son of Frankenstein, 1942, I think, Ghost of Frankenstein, 1941, I don't know, whatever, 1943 or 44, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, 1945 or 46, House of Frankenstein. So, there's that stuff. That's really the only classical stuff. I'm a big slasher, whatever they call it. There's the slasher films I love, then there's the films like Silence of the Lambs and The Shining that I love as well, that aren't really slasher films, but they're still horror films, you know. They're in that similar genre in a way, but there's no real actual there is killing, but it's not like a slasher killing. So yeah, there's those. Alright, so we're going to be talking about Halloween. Now, the original film was basically about Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. You know, Michael Myers is stalking Laurie Strode, and Dr. Loomis interferes. Well, it's kind of similar in this film. They kind of took that whole thing. They just made the story different. So the first beginning part is the whole young Michael Myers thing, and explains the whole thing when he started killing animals, to him killing his older sister, his sister's boyfriend, the bullies that were bullying him at school, his stepfather, and then it explains what happened to his mother, and it explains the whole thing in the mental asylum that he was in, and it explains how he escaped and everything like that, and then it goes to the huge main part of the film, which is really when Michael Myers has that, should I say, William Shatner mask that's been kind of like ruined and not melting, but like, what's the word? Rotting. There we go. So, like I said before, the beginning talks about, it really kind of starts off with this little creepy craziness of, they're at the Myers house, forgot, Michael's older sister's name. She was getting ready for school, and Michael was getting ready for school, and there's this whole kind of big fight between the mother and the stepdad, who was a big pervert and a guy who would swear a lot, and then there was that whole shut the fuck up and stuff like that, and then there was the whole fighting in the bathroom scene, which, there was that whole fighting in the bathroom scene between the bullies and Michael, and then the whole pervert thing, and his mother is like a stripper, basically, so she's like a pole dancer stripper, so, there's that, and then they were kind of making fun of that, and then there's the whole, then they go to the, Michael and his parents, Michael and his mom goes to, the principal's office. Principal is talking to Mrs. Myers about Michael and how disturbing he is now, and to school, and showed a bunch of, and she bah! And the principal gave her a bunch of pictures that they found in his backpack of dead animals that he, I think, killed. Either that or that he just found them randomly there and decided to take disturbing pictures of them. So then there was that, and then there was the day when his mother left to go to the strippers club to be like a pole dancer, and Michael was left behind with his sister, who hated Michael in a way. Was annoyed with Michael and stuff like that, so she didn't want to take him out to go trick-or-treating. Instead, she was having sex with her boyfriend upstairs in her room. And then there was, Michael kills the stepdad by taping him to a chair when he was sleeping and slicing his throat. Then there was the scene when, it shows Michael's older sister and her boyfriend, doing it, and there's that whole thing when he pulls on, he takes this mask, but it wasn't rotten yet, he takes it, hold on, I got an itch, he takes it and puts it on, he's like, And she's like, "Oh, take it off." And he's like, "No, I don't. I want to do it with this mask on." And so he decided. She sent him to get a beer. So he went downstairs, got a beer. He didn't even notice that the stepdad was dead. Michael comes in with a metal baseball bat and starts beating him to death with it. Then Michael comes up, takes the Shatner mask, puts it on, and chases and stabs his older sister. His older sister put on some clothes, so there wasn't really any boobage at that point. Maybe a little bit, but there was some boobage and a lot of boobage in this film, because there was a lot of teenagers having sex and stuff like that, and they would get killed. And while there's actually 3 points when there was, breasts shown in the film. So I don't want to say this because it's a review and I'm not really inappropriate like that. Never mind. I just don't like talking about it in this thing, but it's definitely a thing to consider. Consider if you're gonna watch this. So first one was when his sister, Michael's older sister, was having sex with her boyfriend. There was some parts when her breasts would come up and it would be like shown, so you can see her nipples and stuff like that. And there was that point. And then there was the second time when it was based years later when Michael already escaped from the asylum and stuff like that, and he put a sheet over his head and made him look like a ghost, and he killed this girl's boyfriend, and she thought it was her boyfriend that was under the sheet, so she was like, she kind of, either she was in bed or she was kneeling and just like pulled her shirt off, and showed those. And then she's like, "Oh, come on." So she stands up and you can pretty much see her whole naked body, even including her vagina or like the pubic hair around there. And so there's that area. And then she gets stabbed to death, basically, and taken. And then the third point was at another person's house when she gets stabbed, but she's still alive. And I think she's wearing pants. She just wasn't wearing a shirt or a bra. So yeah, there's those points to consider. That's why first thing, this is not rated. This is the unrated version. So, yeah, I own the unrated version. The other thing is like one of the only versions you can own. Sorry, I thought I heard a bee or a wasp or whatever. Or it could have just been the floor creaking. Anyway, so yeah, so other than those points, it's mostly blood and gore and disturbing points. And then there's just some parts there's a lot of parts when there's a bunch of F words thrown around, and then there's just the normal scenes when it's not totally inappropriate. It's just a bunch of people walking out, just walking around and stuff like that. So there's that to consider as well. So that's really an unrated film. So yeah, so Michael Myers kills his sister, yada yada. He's sitting outside with the baby sister, and when his mom comes home and she sent him to the asylum and blah blah blah, when he's in the asylum, he pretends that he didn't do that. And Dr. Loomis is like his doctor, so and Dr. Loomis is the main character in in most of the Halloween films. So Dr. Loomis, says he's a charming boy, yada yada. And then Michael Myers started making paper mache masks, and he would hide Michael gets brought in, and Dr. Loomis has to leave, and he said that Michael was like one of his only friends, and Michael just sat there. And there was the whole escape scene. And then his mother committed suicide back when Michael was still around 6, 7 years old. But I don't think Michael ever knew that, unless they told him. I don't know. Doesn't really explain that part, if Michael ever knew what happened to his mother, but he was a very close person to his mother. He never killed his mother, first of all. He killed his stepdad, his sister, his older sister's boyfriend, those people, and killed the bully, like the main bully, but I don't know if he actually killed the main bully. Maybe he injured him, but I think he did kill him. With a big wooden log that he found in the woods. So yeah, and then, Michael goes to the house, puts the jumpsuit on, finds the knife that I think he used to kill. I think he used that night, and he took that, and he also found the mask, and he put that on, and started stalking Lori. Then he finally caught Lori, and was trying to explain to Lori that she was his younger sister, and that he's her older brother. But she doesn't understand that, and she doesn't know who the people are in the picture that he shows her. So she basically escapes by stabbing him, which she thinks would kill him, or attempt to escape. And then Michael comes back alive, and yada yada, gets shot. And then Dr. Loomis comes in. There's this whole fight thing, yada yada, and then Michael falls off the thing with Lori. Lori shoots him in the head. Dr. Loomis picks her up, and then Michael comes back, and something happens I don't remember, and then it's the end of that film. So yeah, it's a sad movie. At points, it's disturbing, and I'm not a huge fan of the whole nakedness of any of these films. I mean, boys technically do like naked girls, I don't deny that I do, but I'm just not that type of person to see those in films. But, I don't want to look away, just in case something happens at that point that's very important. And if you look away, then you miss it. And other times, I just don't want to look away, because I'm, just because it's an interesting scene or something like that. But otherwise, I kind of wish that there was no nudity. Would have been a little bit better for me, at least. I'm not scarred, but not scarred by it, but I just think it's kind of a sickening parts of slasher films. But it's one of those things that you find nowadays in a lot of horror films, especially from the 70s on, was really nudity. Actually, around 60s on was nudity. And then nude people would start getting killed around the 70s. And then there's that whole weird Return of the Living Dead thing when that girl's nude and she thinks what would it be like if she got eaten by a zombie. She's fascinated by death and she loves sex. So she just goes nude and, wonders what it would be eaten by an old guy. So, yeah. But that's not really the main focus on this film. It's just one of those things that, like, if you don't really want to see it because of that, then I guess you probably wouldn't exactly like that part of the film. And I like those parts of the film, not because of the nude girls, just because, I don't know, it's just very interesting to see what Michael does to people. So yeah, anyway, so this is one of my favorite movies right now. Other ones are, trying to think here, Like I said, Halloween 1978, Halloween 2 1981, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2007, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Nightmare on Elm Street, the 1984 version, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, the 2009 remake version of it, of Friday the 13th, and there was a couple others. Halloween 4, the Return of Michael Myers is another one. I think there might have been one more, but I don't remember. So yeah, and here's my two favorite remakes are 2007 Halloween and 2009 Friday the 13th. So, yeah guys, I did a part 1, part 2 review of Halloween film series. I couldn't really do exactly as much as I wanted to because my mom came home and I wasn't expecting her to come home at that time, but she did, so I was supposed to be, I think I should have been done breakfast by then, but I didn't even have it yet. So, well, I had it already right now, but I'm saying, like, before. So yeah, so I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna be posting part 2, and then I will post this movie. I'll also be charging my phone at the same time because I like it when I have 100%. Not that, like, I'm kind of perfect on that point, but so yeah. So if you guys want to watch this film, I don't know if I would suggest it. Definitely not to younger kids because of the whole nudity thing, and also it's bloody. I wouldn't even recommend the rated R version to kids. There's only 2 versions. There's the rated R version and there's the unrated version. So I wouldn't even recommend the R-rated version to younger kids. But if you're like around my age, definitely at least go for the R-rated film. If you really want to watch a lot of blood, a lot of nudity and stuff like that, watch the unrated version. The unrated version I think is a little bit easier to find nowadays. So yeah, alright guys, don't know what I'll be reviewing next. Hopefully I get another movie or a CD, I don't know about that. But hopefully I find something that I can review that I am interested in. So I also have to text back my best friend. He's been texting me lately, so I have to text him back. Alright guys, see ya. Bye.